Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to LockdownEconomy interview series. My name is Irina and it is my pleasure to host an interview of today. LockdownEconomy is a non-for-profit, socially oriented project run by think tank AlterContacts out of Amsterdam. And the aim of the project is to collect and harvest strategies of businesses across the world in dealing with the current pandemic. This series are focusing on restaurant business, and it is my pleasure to bring our guests of today, Jorane Cuppen from Guts to Glory. Guts to Glory is a chef's management agency in Amsterdam. And my warm welcome to Jorane. Hello, how are you?
Hi, thank you so much. I'm good. How are you?
Doing very well. Very curious about our conversation today. So shall we begin?
Yeah, sure.
Tell me about your business. So what is Guts to Glory all about?
Well, during the time that I did internships and worked for PR companies in the Netherlands, I actually came across the fact that the world of chefs is really changing a lot. So instead of being in the basement of the kitchen, being in the basement of the restaurant where the kitchen was located at, I could see that the kitchen was located now in the middle of the restaurant, like some sort of fishbowl, because everybody wanted to see the chef and wanted to talk to the chef. So I noticed that the role of a chef was changing, but the chef himself was not changing. And with different lives, different requests will come up. So requests for TV shows and requests for interviews and all that sorts. And well, nobody was really helping the chef. So that's why I started Guts to Glory, to really help the chef to tell his story and to, well, really manage his career, to so to say.
Very, very interesting. How long have you been doing that? How long have you been in this line of work?
I think since 2018. So not that long, I have to say. I knew that there was a crisis coming, but I didn't know it was this kind of crisis. No, but I've been in the world of PR marketing for quite some time, and I've been working with chefs for a really long time. So this was sort of a logic step, and yeah, it launched it in 2018.
Right. And this restaurant interview series that we're conducting now are also in collaboration with the Menu Me restaurant guide. So tell us about your collaboration with them.
Yeah, they have some people that are reviewing restaurants for them. So I'm one of the food angels, as they call them. And next to that, I'm also with Joël Broekaert, who writes for NRC newspaper in the Netherlands. And we tend to go out and eat a lot. So
nice.
I have to say this year is totally different for me than normally, because normally I spend, I think, 2 nights per year at home eating and all the other ones in restaurants. So this year has been, the complete 180 opposite.
So maybe let's capture some of these differences of this year. So what are the ways that this year is very different to any other year? So what has this lockdown and pandemic brought into your life?
Well, where do I begin? It's been such a different year. I mean, especially the eating out at night and meeting new people and seeing what's going on and what the level is in the city in terms of gastronomy. That's really weird. And well, that's not happening at the moment. Of course, there's takeout and takeaway, but it's sort of a in between period for everybody. I still can feel that, even though we're in this for almost a year at the moment. So that's really different. So the contact with people is different. Everybody is also really focused on themselves instead of on other people, which, yeah, it's just really different, I have to say. Yeah, and well, for restaurants, it's just, yeah. For me, it's really weird because normally I start a process with a restaurant or with a chef, and it runs for several months. And well, they pay me to do the job that I do. And now it feels really weird to actually ask money for from Horeca or from the restaurant world, because you know that they're not making that much money as well. So it's really searching for other opportunities and other ways to work with each other and to support each other, because the way that we did things is not going to happen or is not going to work for now. Yeah.
That's a very interesting link, I think, to the next question, because you started talking about finding new ways of running your business, of working with the restaurants. So what are the strategies that you right now pursue within your business to stay relevant, to stay in the game? So what are your lockdown strategies for the time being?
Well, first, I sort of took a break for myself when the first lockdown was happening. I worked 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week. So I took some time off, or not really off, but just to lower the amount of hours I worked, which wasn't that difficult, of course, because a lot of things got canceled. A lot of the events that we're normally doing weren't going to happen. So that's firstly what I did. And then my strategy was to really show that you're not only there in good times, but also in bad times, because it's going to be a bad time for everybody. And this is really the time that you can make a difference as a partner. I mean, if people feel that you're a partner as well in these difficult times, and really to stay connected and stay in touch, that for me was my main, it still is my main strategy, just to check in with everybody. Really to know what's going on, to see where I can help or develop, or really support them with what they are doing at the moment, and to briefly switch and communicate in high speed, because that's obviously in restaurants what they need at the moment, because everything is changing so fast. Right. So really focusing on communication was the main strategy. And in terms of my business model, you have to switch as well, because it also doesn't feel right to really ask money from restaurants at this moment. Mm-hmm. I'm really keen in supporting my locals, so that's mainly what I'm doing right now. But really to search for other business models and see how you can actually create a win-win situation, instead of just holding on to the thing that you're used to.
Right. And in working with restaurants, have you noticed whether their requests and their problems, or the problems that they come to you with, have changed? If we were right now to think from their perspective, what is it that restaurants are struggling with from your point of view, from what you've seen?
Well, really struggling with reinventing yourself in such a limit time frame. That's mainly what I see, because it's really, I mean, everybody switched to takeout and takeaway food, but it's not just I'll put the food that I normally make in some sort of tray and I'll send it out for the rider to take with them. That's just not how things work, to sort of say. And you see some restaurants that are really really doing this themselves already, that they really reinvent themselves and make sure that they have or a different concept, or that they change their own concept in some sort of takeaway style, where you still can feel the brand of the concept or the brand of the restaurant. And others really do need help with that. I think that's something that's underestimated, and that a lot of restaurants and entrepreneurs came across at least at a later stage, because you have to come across it sometimes.
Right. And do you find yourself sometimes in situations that you might need to educate restaurants or chefs as to how they could deal with the pandemic? Do they have the right skills, basically what I'm asking, to manage what is happening? Or sometimes maybe you need to take them by the hand and allow them to embrace the new reality, not only fight it emotionally?
Well, I think it's a different game for chefs than for restaurants itself. I think the restaurants really have the advantage of being able to switch so swiftly and being able to adapt so swiftly, because that's what's needed in this pandemic. And that's really something that gastronomy always has been doing and is able to do. But the mindset of not seeing guests, doing something completely different, although it's a fast swift, it's still mentally a burden or mentally something that does something with you. I mean, when we had the restaurants open till 10 a.m., for example, to 10 p.m., normally that's when the rush of the chef is still ongoing and still happening, and he's buzzing, and there's still an enormous amount of energy. And well, at 9:30, everything sort of collapsed in the night, because at 10 everybody has to get out, and the chef is still in that mood and in that energy, and they sort of fall in a black hole, to sort of say, because it's so different than what they're used to. And even though they know it, it's not that the mind and even the body is prepared to undergo these changes. So that's really where I sort of come in.
Psychological and bodily. And so how do you help them then to manage this transformation? Could you give an example or just something a bit more specific?
Well, just really sure that you're there. So in terms of the strategy that I choose, to really make sure that you have time, that at 9:30 or at 10 p.m. that chefs are going to call you because they have no idea what to do, or they have some emotions that they want to get out, or so really making sure that you're available and to call and to connect with them at that moment, because that's a really important moment for them. And that's not something that I think a lot of people think about, that chefs are, for example, really people that say that, how do you say that? That really attach a lot of value to the consistent thing that they're going through. So the whole consistent day, for example, and it's changed a lot. So for now, and that's really something to take into account. So really to be there and to listen to what they say, and just to go through the day with them and to go through the emotions that they're feeling, because if they're not expressing it, it's only going to build up to a point that things are really different.
Well, it's a very it's a very big task to support chefs emotionally, first of all, to carry their jobs. So if you think from your professional perspective as as entrepreneur, you are conducting these activities for chefs, what is it that you need as a business and maybe as an individual to be able to perform this role successfully? What are your needs, or what are your wishes maybe that you would have liked to have available to you, accessible to you, to perform your role?
Well, a lot of patience. I think that is the main thing. But no, I mean, for other people, I can bring up the patience, luckily. But I think some perspective would really help. I think that's the main struggle for everybody right now, because it's just not really looking like it's going to end very soon, or I mean, now with the vaccines, we just still don't know how this is going to go. In Amsterdam, the lockdown just got extended for another couple of weeks. So every time we hear this, it's sort of, again, that we need to reinvent ourselves and take the time to process the fact that we're still going to be in this for a couple of weeks. But that's especially hard because you don't have the perspective of when it's actually going to happen, that restaurants can open again, or that people can go out to eat again. So I think perspective is the main thing that I would like to have, because that's something that I can use as well to motivate the chefs, or to talk to restaurants with, in order to plan and to think ahead and to see what we can do with the new opportunities that arise. Mm-hmm. So I think that's something. And for me, it's really, I want to stay in horeca, or I want to stay in the gastronomy world. But it's really finding new initiatives or new, well, not really to say clients, because I'll stick with my chefs, but there's so much going on in terms of product development, for example, which is really important for chefs as well. So really looking into that and finding new initiatives there in order to put my focus on, or to give me energy as well, and to develop my chefs in that sense. That will be something that I'll need as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's very interesting. And who do you think would be able to help you develop perspective or gain this insights in the new initiative? Could let's say other sector? Could you get insights from other sectors? Would policymakers be helpful at all, or local government, local business support networks? So, in your point of view, where could you get this help from?
Well, it's quite hard, I think, in terms of product development, because it's about products that you can use in the kitchen, or products that are sort of around gastronomy in a sense, because I don't want to drift too far away from what I'm actually doing and what gives me a lot of energy. I think that's actually quite hard. A lot of these new initiatives come via friends or via the contacts that you've built, so via your network. And then I find myself, for example, on Monday morning, visiting a milk factory that produces milk and bottles milk per cow, instead of put everything in a big tank and send it away for the larger milk factories. But that's so, it feels really random at sometimes, but connecting that to hospitality is actually pretty fun to do right now, because normally we wouldn't have time to do this. But that really comes from a network, and hopefully some sectors, for example, the food sector, or well, even farmers. I mean, that would help to have someone from these sectors to really look for opportunities for these farmers, or for these sectors as well. That's to really try and connect.
Yeah, very interesting. So connecting to a wider audience, looking for opportunities. That's very interesting.
We're really thinking about the products of the people that are in your sector, and see how they can broaden their horizon. I think that's something we really need right now.
Right. That's very interesting. Jorane, one of my last questions perhaps is, and we've started building towards that, so looking into the future, into the coming months, 3 to 6 months, what is your foresight? What are you planning? What are you thinking about? So what is your outlook for the coming months?
I find it really hard to say that, because at this moment, there's no perspective for me as well. So keeping others motivated while keeping yourself motivated without any perspective is quite hard to say. I hope that the chefs will be mentally as strong at the end of this pandemic as we started, because we do have to do this together. And I hope that's going to happen. And really to be prepared for the moment that we can open again, that the restaurants can open again. I mean, we have to be prepared for that moment and have to look beyond that as well. So I hope that when we have some sort of date that we know that the restaurants can open again, that we can build up the motivation and build up the really just to start again. That would feel great. I think that will make a major difference as well, for the people that I'm working with and for the industry in general. So I hope that's giving the perspective that we need, also to look 6 months ahead instead of only a couple of weeks of what we're doing right now. Yeah.
Right. Well, I truly wish that there will be a perspective, a good, a positive one. I think all the industries are longing for that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights and for being with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you once again. Thank you to everybody for watching, for sharing, for being with us in this interview series. Once again, this has been made possible with the help of AlterContacts think tank and Menu Me restaurant guide in Amsterdam. I say goodbye to everybody and wishing everybody a good day. Thank you.